One thing to keep in mind, or rather 9 things to keep in mind, are the 9 principles of sensitive practice. And this is important not only for anxiety disorders or mood disorders, but just in your practice in general. Okay? You're going to show that client respect. You're going to take your time when you talk to them. You're going to be fully present. You're going to be actively listening to them. And you're not going to rush them through their intake or through their initial interview because you want to get them on the table so that they get their full 60 hands-on minutes. You need to be as slow as you need to be to get all of the information that's appropriate and that the client wants to give you. This means being less task-oriented. You're not focused on, oh, I got to get my lotion ready. Okay, I got to leave so that they can get undressed. Okay, now we're going to do the back. Oh, they have a bump on their leg. Okay, well, I have to move down to the foot now because I've already focused on the leg for 10 minutes. No. Take your time where you need to take your time for that client. And that's going to help develop rapport. That's developing and maintaining a demeanor that conveys genuine caring, and it balances not only professionalism with warmth and friendliness, but it balances your knowledge and your advice that you will give them as a therapist with what they are telling you as a client about their body, because they are much more knowledgeable about what they are currently going through than what you are. You may know how you want to help them with that issue, but they are going to educate you about their issue. You're going to share information, constant communication. You're going to tell your client what you are doing and why you are doing it. I would also add when you are doing it or how you are going to do it. I'm going to firmly press my hand to compress your thigh now. Tell them why you're compressing it to relax the muscle or stretch the muscle if it's a myofascial technique. Explain it to them. If they don't want you to talk during the massage, just gently keep your body for continuous touch communication if you are not using words. You're going to share the control. You're going to let that client be an active participant rather than just laying there and taking what you give them. You're going to ask them if the pressure is okay, if the lighting is okay, if the sound is okay, if they are comfortable. You are going to communicate with them so they can tell you freely, no, I hate this music. No, the pressure's too light. No, the pressure's too hard and it's hurting me here. I don't like the smell of the lotion. Can we please change it? Leave space for them to be able to tell you these things comfortably, especially if it's someone with a social anxiety disorder who doesn't want to create trouble or be judged because maybe they think the therapist loves that lotion even though it's giving them a headache, and they're embarrassed or scared to tell you that they don't like it. Begin by saying, hey, if there's anything you don't like, you are in control of this session. And tell me what it is that I can do to make it better for you during this session. And respect the boundaries that they give you. Having healthy boundaries helps to validate and reinforce what their worth is to them and their not only their bodily autonomy, but their health autonomy. All right. Something like sexual abuse we have here in the PowerPoint is a blatant disregard of those boundaries. Someone has touched them without their consent. They have crossed those physical boundaries. You as a massage therapist are never going to do that. You're going to ask them if that touch is okay. You're going to ask them if there are areas that you cannot touch. And you're only going to touch the areas that they have given you enthusiastic consent to touch and actively want you to treat. You're going to foster mutual learning. You're going to encourage them to question what you're doing and speak up again when they're uncomfortable. Hey, why are you pushing on my thigh that way? Well, I'm giving you compressive strokes because, and you're going to explain to them what you're doing. And if they don't like it, give them space to tell you that they don't like it so that you can change your technique and hopefully be just as effective to healing that area or relaxing that area while not making them feel uncomfortable. And you have to also understand non-linear healing. You have to check in with them every time you see that client and during each session with that client and make continuous adjustments according to what they state. If they have a pain grunt that doesn't sound very happy, if they're obviously turning their head to press their eyes as hard as they can into the face cradle because the lights are too bright, pay attention not only to verbal but non-verbal cues that your client is giving you about their comfort level. And the last principle is demonstrating awareness of interpersonal violence. All right. You can have pamphlets available from local organizations. I would avoid putting ones out that are overtly religious unless you have a very religion-based office. There are over 4,200 registered religions. I would hate that you would offend some clients by having one or two particular religious pamphlets out and not necessarily the one of your client's choice. Definitely put helpline numbers out. Things like 211 if it's available in your area where people can call for resources, domestic abuse hotlines, suicide hotlines. There are a multitude of phone and physical resources in any given area. And I would absolutely put as much of that information out in a place where your clients can feel safe getting it without being watched getting it. If that means putting it in the closed massage room so that as they are getting ready to go on the table or dressing in privacy after the session, they are welcome to take those pamphlets with them privately without feeling that you as a therapist or somebody in the lobby is potentially watching them get that information.